Hey folks, Tennessee Brando here for MeidasTouch. You know, Lauren Boebert has a long history of hateful rhetoric towards the gay community, but in the wake of the mass shooting at Club Q in Colorado, she wants everyone to forget all about that. And she really doesn't want anyone to link her hateful rhetoric to the uptick in violence toward the gay community. Now, Lauren Boebert is also saying that she is a victim in this whole mass shooting because now people are blaming her, and it's just ridiculous that anyone should blame her. In this next clip, she goes so far as to say you can't blame society for criminals. You have to just blame it all on the criminal. She also talks about how that she's been blamed for it for so many shootings, and she can't understand why. And if you'll notice during this clip, one of the most disturbing parts to me is as she's talking about all the things she's been blamed for, she even goes so far as to crack a joke and say, and I've even been blamed for Paul Pelosi getting whacked in the head. And the host laughs at this because the picture they're trying to paint in this next clip is that Lauren Boebert is the victim. These MAGA Republicans always have to find a way to make themselves the victim in the story. They always have to find a way to make it that the evil liberals are coming after them and they're just out here trying to protect children. Watch this clip. She hits all the right-wing talking points. She plays the victim. And then, of course, she's going to throw in there that she threw out her thoughts and prayers to everybody. It's a sickening clip, but take a look at it and we'll talk some more about it.
You cannot just continue to blame society for evil people. At some point, you have to blame the criminal instead of just doing whatever you can to get the blame off of them and release them back into society quicker. Dan, I have been accused of just about every mass shooting there has been since the left has learned of my name, whether it's Uvalde or the King Super shooting in Boulder, Colorado, or the Buffalo, New York shooting, or even Paul Pelosi getting hammered. I have been blamed for all of them. And so all of this, it has to come to an end, this blame game. I think the left is pissed that I won my election.
Of course they are.
And so they're trying to find something to go after me about. I expressed my concern for the family, for the victims, and the way that they came after me is absolutely disgusting. We're all sick of this.
Now, can someone out there find me a clip of Lauren Boebert talking positive about the gay community? Can someone find me a clip before she's talked about how that she wants to reach out to the gay community and she wants people on her side of the aisle to not fear the gay community? Or she wants people on her side of the aisle to try to understand the gay community better? Or she wants people on her side of the aisle to live in peace and harmony with the gay community? I tell you what, you guys go ahead and look for that clip, but I'm not going to hold my breath because Lauren Boebert has always had this history of saying things towards the gay community, and now she's upset that anyone might somehow point and say, well, this rise in violence and you talking this way, she does not want us to ever connect those two dots. But while she was speaking with Ross Kaminsky on a KOA radio station out of Colorado, she said it was disgusting to blame her, and she noted or to note ways that she has vilified the gay community. She says, I have never had bad rhetoric towards anyone or their personal preferences as an adult. But in the very next sentence, she contradicts herself by saying, what I've criticized is the sexualization of children, and I've criticized men dressing up as caricatures of women. Now, most rational, reasonable people would agree that children should not be sexualized in any way. However, men dressing up as caricatures of women, this is her going after drag queens and trying to demonize them. And, there is a drag queen story hour. Drag queen story hour is where drag queens, it's a library program where drag queens read to children to encourage them to be their true self. But Lauren Boebert has a bizarre way of twisting this story. She says, we do not need 6-year-old children putting dollar bills in the thongs of grown men and twerking in front of the children. That is just child abuse. Folks, that's not happening. Grown men are not twerking in front of children, and children are not putting dollar bills in the thongs of grown men. This is her, again, trying to demonize drag queens and trying to appeal to her audience, because that is exactly what these MAGA Republicans love to do the most, is they play upon the emotions of their audience. Well, on the Democratic side of the fence, we are over here, we talk about issues at hand, and we talk about ways that we can make things better. We have ideas and solutions, and they prey upon people's emotions. They pick these knee-jerk subjects that they know will get people worked up really fast. If someone was to say to me, hey, I'm going to take your 4-year-old son down to a drag show, and they're going to strip in front of your kid, and he's going to put dollar bills in the thongs of grown men. I'm one of the most progressive people that you'll ever meet, but I'm going to say, hell no, I don't want my son around that. But that's not what is happening at these shows. This is just simply Lauren Boebert trying to demonize this. She also attacked the Equality Act, which protects transgender youth, by saying, where is the equity in this legislation for young girls across America who will have to look behind their backs as they change in locker rooms just to make sure there isn't some confused man trying to sneak a peek? Again, she is trying her damnedest to get everyone worked into a frenzy with stuff that isn't happening. See, the MAGA Republicans and their style of politics is really, they borrowed from professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is a staged fight. It's not a real fight. It's an image of a fight. But WWE will sell out stadiums and people will go to watch this fight that isn't a real fight. But they do it because the WWE has figured out, the professional wrestling world has figured out how to prey upon people's emotions and get people emotionally invested into a story. So when they see some, bad guy come out and really give a good guy hell and make his life miserable, they relate to that good guy. They want to see the good guy fight up from underneath and get revenge on the bad guy, and they will fill up a stadium to watch it. And if you point out to them, well, it's not a real fight, they don't care because they're emotionally invested in the storyline and the angle. And that's exactly what these MAGA Republicans have done. They have got people invested in these storylines and angles that are fictional and don't exist. But you can't tell them that because they want to believe that they are fighting from underneath against these evil liberals, and they're trying to own the libs. And it is a way to make people who are struggling every day to put food on their table feel that they are the ones that are fighting for justice. There are people all over this country, groups of people that are being oppressed, groups of people whose voices are being silenced. And people like Lauren Boebert realizes that she is reaching out to her crowd, and she has to make her crowd feel just as persecuted and just as vilified and just as demonized as everyone else is. She has to get them emotionally invested in these stories by spewing all this ridiculous rhetoric. When people like us stands back and says, but it's not a real fight, the audience doesn't care because she has convinced them that it's all real. So, folks, I've really enjoyed making this video for MeidasTouch, and you guys need to click that subscribe button because we have surpassed 700,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and we're going to cruise toward 1 million, and we're going to do so with your help. So, click the subscribe button, share these videos, tweet these videos on your other platforms, and let everyone know where they're at, because I am very honored to be part of the MeidasTouch Network. And be sure, I always like to plug these, be sure to listen to the MeidasTouch podcast and the Legal AF podcast. You will learn so much. I listen to them every morning on my way to work, and it helps me to gear up. So thanks, a shout out to Ben, Brett, and Jordy. It definitely helps me to gear up for these videos that I do on here. So thank you guys so much for listening. Until next time, I'm Tennessee Brando. Keep tuning in. I'll keep trying to tell you the truth.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.